Good morning, everyone. Chimera, Evil Nerevar, Cinemachine.
Welcome.
Good morning, Dot. Happy Halloween. We're going to podcast for a bit, because it is going to be a doozy today, everyone. We are going to be talking about one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to study. Truly the scariest episode of Philosophy Friday we've ever done so far. Math? No. We will talk about Sefer Yetzirah later. We'll do another stream about Sefer Yetzirah. It's her. It's Dracula Dorothy. Does Dracula Dorothy have any new powers? You can turn into a mist. That's pretty badass. You'll be watching while on the toad. How delightful and seasonally appropriate for this Halloween episode. By the way, how's the music sound? I had to fuck around with the sound settings. No, you will not be on the road. You will be on the toad. You do not have a choice in this matter. Music is mild and atmospheric. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. On a long toad trip, you know that's right. Wah! Are we gonna get cool historical lessons today or just chilling? Oh, my friend Tommy Gun Cultist, we are going to get into some history today. I know I missed last week, but I've been very locked in with work. The topic I've been studying these past couple weeks has been very difficult. So look forward to a jam-packed episode this week. We're going to be talking about the Hechelo Merkava mysticism. Let's learn about Judaism! A religion that doesn't even celebrate Halloween! Good morning, Ellie. A Pam-jacked episode. She's been hitting the gym. That's fucking true. Can I watch the stream in the shower? Is that allowed? Bad things might happen. Be careful. Be on your guard. Doing hard stuff again? Yup. Witches were thought to follow an especially evil sect of Judaism in it. They were, like, associated with Jews, but the idea that witches were following an explicit, like, sect of Judaism is not really true. Yeah, there was no conception of, like, a distinct witch religion, even among polemics against them. However, they were constantly associated with Jews. Like, the vocabulary that people would use to describe the evil actions of witches were often, like people often used Jewish vocabulary for them. Like, you know, when witches got together to, like, do rituals in the woods, it was called a Sabbath, you know? Yeah, Sabbath, Cabal, exactly. Secret invisible horns, having nasty black blood, stagnant and saturnine blood. That was a thing. It's more like Jews were often accused of being a particularly evil brand of witches. See, that's also not true. The two the two categories of people had a kind of reciprocal relationship. Like, people associated Jews with witches and witches with Jews, because they were it's like whatever the more evil thing was, whatever you were trying to seem more evil, you associate it with the other one. Yeah, I read a paper the other day, partially because I got into an argument with a Zionist the other day, but I read a paper the other day that apparently in the medieval era, there's like some literature that associates Jewish people with like having stagnant black blood associated with the planet Saturn. Yeah, Dot, I send that shit to you. Like, literally, that got me... that got me reading a bunch of shit about, like, attitudes towards Judaism in the medieval era, and... Yeah, it was, like, medicalized in a weird way. Like, this was a corner of it that I never knew about. There's a lot of very, like, anti-Semitic polemics against Jewish people in the Middle Ages that makes them seem like... It makes them seem like X-Men. Like, it's pretty badass. It comes from a pretty horrible place, but it's like... The idea of, like, bleeding caustic black sludge is pretty cool.
Sex sludge.
Why, hello, Sanity. When
Well,
Finland's Swedes were conspiring for Finnish independence from Russian Empire, the Russians slandered them too as Kagal. Yup. And actually, when the Protestant Reformation happened, people would start accusing Catholics of being Jews. Like, that was the, like, it was literally like, what's the worst thing that we can think of to call Catholics? I know, we'll call them Jews. I've seen some anti-Semites accuse modern Jewish people of being Sabbatians? What? Literally... Like, what anti-Semites know enough about Judaism to know about the Shabbatiyans? That's actually crazy. Yeah, like Shabbatite Sevi.
That's advanced hater behavior. It's like that one guy who, like, read the whole Quran so he knew how to, like, insult people.
Literally, that's like, there are a lot of Jews that don't know about Shabbatite Sevi. That's such a deep cut.
That's also a double-edged sword, though, because then if you get insulted by that, then, like, you're not going to be insulted. They're even if they come with you like, oh, that's part of your culture, you should know that. You're like, well, I don't. There's more things too. I don't know that much.
Right.
It's fine.
Judaism has existed for some time now.
There's other things that are important too.
Oh, Sandy is a bit quiet. Here, I'll turn you up.
I moved my mic a little bit.
Okay. You're a little loud on my end. Okay. Like the brief moment in which people on Twitter started calling people stress, right? Yeah, exactly. If there's anything to be learned about the historical realities of anti-Semitism, it is that it is very complicated. All sorts of fun things to choose from. Luckily, today we're going to be talking about a much more interesting and non-murderous corner of Judaism, thankfully. Sevi is why you're not allowed to teach Kabbalah to young people. Yeah, he's why you have to be 30 and married. I think the Hasidics had to invent a new type of knife because they thought the Shabbatiyans were messing with the blades. I've never heard that before. That's interesting. I will neither confirm nor deny. I mean, that does sound like the sort of thing that happened in the reaction to the Shabbatiyans. Although, I would need to see a source, my friend. You're not allowed to teach Hekalo to young people because they keep combusting? Exactly. They might look at the face of God and explode.
Oh, like the angels.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Philoween! Bleh!
Like Philadelphia?
Like philosophy.
Oh, I thought you were a Philadelphian Dracula.
No, that's not true.
Who trying to chop a cheese? That's New Jersey.
I have brain damage. I forgot where I'm from.
I threw up a little bit. I hit my head on my bike. My
Some-
Philadelphia bike.
Someone dropped the brick on my head.
Ooh, scary, isn't it?
All right. Bleh.
What would a Philly ween steak even look like?
I don't know.
I guess it would be like a Philly cheesesteak, but green.
It'd be like with
the scariest
paprika.
color.
It would have Transylvanian paprika on it. I understand.
I know that's a thing now because I've seen the Dracula Daily or whatever, and they talk about paprika
Yes.
being that, but I didn't know that paprika was just like ground up peppers. I thought it was a different thing.
Yeah, it's a spice made from bell peppers, sometimes the capsicum, as it were.
That makes sense because it's a little spicy.
Yeah, and sometimes there are very spicy versions of it. I've had
just
some
got a new
extraordinarily
spice.
spicy paprikas.
Isn't that like a thing in specific? I guess it would be Transylvanian cultures that like their main spice source is paprika.
As a they them of Hungarian heritage, I literally have a can of imported paprika on my desk.
That explains why you're always eating. It's because you're hungry.
Fucking true. Wait, that's kind of real as fuck a little bit.
There's a YouTube short that I saw that was like one of the big CS:GO streamers who's in like a lobby. And he's like, "Where's everyone from?" And the guy's like, "I'm Polish, I'm Czech." The guy's like, "I'm Hungarian." He's like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Hungary." And he's like, "All right, everyone, time out. This guy needs a snack."
I bet they've never heard that joke before, ever.
Literally ever. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you should go to Turkey and get yourself some damn lunch.
Dude, it's not Thanksgiving yet. How can you be from Turkey?
It's literally not Thanksgiving yet. You're wrong.
You're wrong for liking that. Slight sidebar, but I went to a grocery store, I guess you could call it, in order to try to find a pumpkin spice candle for Halloween.
Mhm.
They don't have anything for any holidays earlier than like New Year's Eve. They have like some Christmas stuff out, but like no, this was 2 weeks ago. No Halloween stuff, no Thanksgiving stuff. Like, it is crazy. They have 2 aisles of only Christmas stuff.
Interesting. Getting that Christmas inventory early. Trying to dodge the tariffs.
Well, maybe, but like, if that's the case, certainly you have some like Halloween stock. It's gonna go bad. It's 2 weeks before even Halloween. Like, what if I'm trying to find little candies to give to the children that run around?
Yeah, your pumpkins
I
are gonna
can't.
wither.
Wow, my damn pumpkin wither.
Your freaking
The guy-
autumnal gourds are gonna soften into sludge.
The I think the person who lives across the street from me, or across the hall from me in my apartment, is like a divorced dad. And he put out 2 whole pumpkins uncarved outside his door. And I was like,
Just
"Aw,
on the street.
He's got the spirit."
Yeah. You went to an ancient Roman grocery store? Yo, Saturnalia. Exactly, yes.
Okay, what would you say are Christmas scents other than peppermint? Because I saw some fucking crazy ass.
Pine needles? Like pine?
None of those. No pine needles at all.
What, cranberries?
No. none of
Ginger?
those.
Gingerbread?
Oh, there was one that was molasses. That's close enough to gingerbread.
Yeah, that's close, yeah.
There was one that was a mulled wine candle, which
Ooh.
seems. I've never heard of an alcoholic candle in my life. It seems crazy in concept.
Well, mulled
And then-
wine is usually it's like wine that's been boiled with like very fragrant spices and whatnot. I love the smell of mulled wine. Fuck, I should make some mulled wine.
I do too. I've never made it. I think I've supped of it once because we went over to a friend's house and they made like a big pot of it. But it also like serves a double purpose. Like whenever I was growing up, we would always have just a big pot with cinnamon and cloves in it, and that's just always boiling away to like humidify the house in the cold winter months and also give a good scent up.
I bet that smells good as fuck.
It does. We've destroyed many pots because we just forget about it and then it just keeps going.
Oh
No,
my
the
god, I got.
biggest one.
Sorry, I booted up Warframe and they gave me so many Archon shards. That's badass.
3,
Three whole shards.
and you got a Warframe slot for the game Warframe.
I did. Did I? Wait, did I? Yeah, I did. I got and 2 weapon slots. That'll be useful. Have you come up with any new concepts for the Palace Intrigue game? I have, but I don't want to, like... we need to lock in and talk about the actual philosophy this week. So, okay. Sanity?
Mm-hmm.
This week, I've been really locked in for the last 2 weeks of, like, at work, reading about shit. And here's the thing. The shit that I've been reading about the last 2 weeks has been maybe the most difficult thing I've ever had to write about.
You did mention that before we started yesterday, just
Yes.
about how, I guess, obscure everything is.
So, okay. The thing that we're talking about today is the Hekalo Merkava mysticism, the literature of the palaces and chariots, which is one of the oldest forms of, like, formal mystical literature in Western civilization. Like, one of the oldest forms of mystical literature. So, the sort of prehistory of it is that, okay, Sandy, do you know about the Second Temple being destroyed and whatnot?
Nope.
Okay, well, oh, we got, like, some skins and whatnot. Let's see what we got here.
I'm imagining there was a first temple that something probably bad happened to.
Yeah, the Babylonians happened to it. So Judaism used to be based around a temple, right? Like, there was a temple...
What?
Yeah, there was a temple in Judea, like a big one, and that's just, like, where they held the Ark of the Covenant. And a long
That's a real thing?
It used to be, yeah.
Okay.
And then a long time ago, King Solomon built a temple, and then it got blown up by the Babylonians, and then so they rebuilt it, and then it got blown up again by the Romans in the year 72, right?
Okay.
And basically, in the lead up to the destruction of that temple, here, let's go gambling. Aya,
Let's
10
go
Aya, that's
gambling.
useful actually. So in the lead up to the destruction of the Second Temple, okay, Sanity, if you look at a map of the territory that Alexander the Great conquered, right, like all the countries that he conquered, you're gonna see Jerusalem right there in the middle of it all. It's like the dead center. So when Alexander died, he did the classic move of dividing his empire amongst his 10 coreless sons, who all immediately started fighting with each other and trying to kill each other. And if you look at the map of the post-Alexandrian empires, yeah, Ptolemy reference, let's go! So if you look at the map of the post-Alexandrian empires, Judea is also right in the middle of it all. So the story of Alexander the Great dying and Judea trying to exist is that they were just constantly getting their asses kicked by the Greeks and the Egyptians and the Seleucid Persians. It was so a lot. So okay, for most of that period, Israel was owned by the Seleucid Persians. But for the most part, they were pretty chill. They were allowed, like, they didn't have to worship Persian gods. They just had to answer to the Persian legal system, but they were also allowed to have their own legal system. However, these post-Alexandrian states, the Ptolemaic dynasties, right in the middle is Judea, which made it a perfect trade hub of these empires.
Okay.
And that meant, and the trade language of the time was ancient Greek. So there were a lot of people in ancient Israel, or in late antique Israel, that spoke Greek. Most people spoke Greek. In fact, the large sections of the Torah were probably not originally compiled in Hebrew. They were probably compiled in Koine Greek and then translated into Hebrew.
Was that a language that people spoke, or was it like Latin, where like people spoke it because it was like the fancy language?
It was the trade language of the time. Like people spoke Koine Greek because it was it was what all the merchants spoke. However, most of the scribal caste of Israel still spoke Hebrew. They spoke classical Hebrew.
Okay.
So this was a big problem for a lot of Jewish people, is that a lot of people were trying to resist Hellenization, right? Like they felt that their culture was becoming too Greek. You know, the Jewish elements of it were being stamped out in favor of Hellenization. And a lot of people had problems with that, and they kept holding rebellions, like starting up rebellions, trying to kill Greek people, like Greek soldiers and eventually Roman soldiers. There was a lot of different revolts about this, one of which culminated in supposedly a sort of Greek official trying to install a statue of Zeus in the temple. Which, if that's true, no Jewish person of the time would have put up with that. Like that's instant. We're allowed to kill you forever, like type thing. Because polytheism is the greatest heresy in Judaism.
Okay.
So there were a lot of revolts, and eventually they pissed off the Roman Empire. I'm papering over a lot of history here. They pissed off the Roman Empire, and the Romans just fucking flattened them. Like, rolled over Israel completely. Like, the temple cult used to have, like, a sort of monarchical nobility who were, like, the family members of the monarch. And they used to have an official priest caste who like lived and modified the temple, and the Romans basically destroyed all of that. Like the legal system, the priest caste, the nobility were almost completely wiped out by the Romans.
Okay.
The people who survived were their scribal caste, the guys whose job it was to write shit down all the time. Those guys, who were all, generally speaking, pretty weak nerds, were like, fuck this, I'm not fighting the Romans anymore, let's move to Syria. They became called the Pharisees, and they became modern rabbinical Judaism. Those are the rabbis. Those are the proto-rabbis.
Okay.
Another corner of these guys was people saying, like, fuck, the world is ending, we're all gonna die, but don't worry, it doesn't matter if the Romans blow up the temple, because God has a plan. God controls geopolitics, and this was all written out beforehand. God's gonna come in and save us. The Messiah is gonna come and set everything right. And a large corner of those guys became the Jesus movement, which eventually became Christianity.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's where, hey, we got a hype train going.
I like it phrased as the Jesus movement.
Yes, there was about 100 years, like, before the death of Christ and after the death of Christ. Like, Christianity was still, like, a bunch of weirdos that were just following Jesus around and reading all the scripture associated with him. It wasn't quite Christianity, so it's just called the Jesus movement. Like, when the sort of the line there is all of the guys who still consider themselves Jewish, right? A lot of early Christians were like, no, we're not. It's like, don't call us Christians. We're still Jewish. Don't call them Christians, bro.
Right. You're scaring the host.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for the gift subs. Also, welcome to chat. We're discussing the early history of Judaism and the development of the rabbinical system. So you've got this fairly rough time to be a Jew in late antiquity. History is a pretty dangerous place. This is one of the roughest times to be a Jew in history, and that's really saying something. History's a real dangerous place to be. Try not to be around when history is happening.
Right. It sounds like there's a couple things you can be in history and you're generally fine, but for the most part, it's bad to be any time other than now. Yes. Kind of no matter who you are.
Yeah. So this is the milieu in which people are. So obviously, you've had this religion that up until now has been based around a big old temple, and it's just been destroyed, completely destroyed, wiped off the face of the earth. The Romans literally disassemble it. How do you, like, what does it mean to be Jewish after this? So there's a lot of different conflicting opinions, and there's a lot of different people writing about what they think Judaism is going to look like in the future. And there's a lot of different conflicting opinions on that. If you remember your Bible, people love to talk about Sadducees and Pharisees and the mysterious Essenes. So the Pharisees were the proto-rabbis. The Sadducees were the remnants of the old temple priesthood, like the old priestly aristocracy, who very rapidly lost all political power and kind of annihilated because they didn't have a temple anymore. And the Essenes, we don't really know much about them. There's like one reference to them from Flavius Josephus, the Jewish historian, Roman Jewish historian and famous and useful trader. Flavius Josephus says, like, the Essenes were, like, kind of like monks. Like, they were so hardcore that they didn't even participate in society. They just, like, left to go live in the desert and not eat bread or drink water. And just spend all their time praying and starving. And no one knows what happens to them. They kind of vanish from the historical record in the around 50 AD.
Well, probably because they didn't need any bread or water and they died.
Yeah, probably because they all starved to death in the desert, yeah.
They probably went to the desert and died a lot. It seems as though it's true with also being in the past. Generally, if you're in the desert, it's a bad thing, too.
Deserts...
You definitely don't want to be in the past and in the desert.
Like, so Israel's in the middle of the desert. Like Iron Age, like Second Temple Israel, middle of the desert. When the first temple was destroyed, a lot of the Jewish priest class was, like, basically taken as prisoners and taken to Babylon, and eventually the Persians took over and were like, "Hey, Jews, we're gonna let you go back to your homeland now. You don't have to remain captive in Babylon anymore." And a lot of them didn't. They're like, "I don't want to go back. Israel's like it's literally a rock in the middle of the desert, and here I have like farmland and slaves. I literally don't want to go back. It's awesome here in Babylon. I love the Babylonian captivity."
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I probably would say the same thing.
So you've got this period where everyone is trying to figure out what it means to be Jewish these days. And one of the most interesting opinions that you get is is demonstrated in the Book of Enoch, right? You ever heard of the Book of Enoch before?
Nope. I know the Enochians. I've heard of that.
Yes. I've probably mentioned them before.
They're in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes. That does make sense. So, the Enochian literature is basically there's a character in the Bible named Enoch. He's Moses' grandfather, and he's special because he's said to have never died. The Bible says that he didn't die, God took him.
Just like Jesus? Or did Jesus die?
Well, Jesus definitely did die, but it didn't stick. He came back. And then he went up to heaven or something, and one day he's going to return. But yeah, also like Elijah. That's the other biblical character that didn't die. So, and Mary, yes. So Enoch never died. God took him up to heaven. And there's this book called the first book of Enoch that is basically the story of... It's basically a story of, like, God took Enoch up to heaven and took him on a tour of heaven. Like, he got to see the palace of heaven and whatnot. And God showed Enoch the plan for the universe, right? He's like, don't worry. God controls all of politics, and all the Romans that are like making fun of you and calling you cringe because they kicked your ass and like destroyed your entire culture and country. God laughs at them, right? They are but dust in the wind compared to God, and God is the wind that blows them.
Okay.
So don't be sad, which is a wonderful sentiment, but it's also kind of the definition of cope.
It does sound kind of like cope, yeah.
It is
like
kind
you're
of cope,
actually the
yes.
secret badasses.
You're actually the secret badasses. Don't worry about everything. God is laughing at them, and you should laugh along with them. Interesting sentiment. He also, in this literature, produces an alternate reason for why the Genesis flood happens. Basically said that like angels went down to earth and like they lusted after human women, and had children with them and taught them forbidden arts, like how to hammer metal into swords and breastplates. And there's a long list of demons and what they were responsible for teaching people. Like they specifically say that the demon Azazel is responsible for teaching humanity about makeup. Specifically, the beautification of the eyes. Like, Azazel taught people about eyeliner, and that's why humanity is corrupt now.
Oh, because people make their eye pretty.
Yes,
and being pretty is bad.
Yes, women are sluts, and that's why the Romans destroyed Israel.
Wait, didn't you just say that like angels came down to Earth, and then angels told people things?
Yes,
but then you said demons. Was it both?
Well, they're fallen angels. They're demons. The specific verbiage they use is that the angels defiled themselves through the women, as in, like, the fact that they had sex with human women is what took away their divinity, which is like, that's some like emo bullshit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that it's putting the blame on the human women.
Yes.
Apparently we're so beautiful that even angels of God could not resist getting pussy.
So the thing that you might rapidly realize about this era of Jewish mysticism and its later recensions in Kabbalah is that it's very politically conservative. This is not woke shit. These are oftentimes like the most conservative elements of Jewish society that are like trying to preserve an element of Jewish identity when it is under attack, which is a pretty reasonable response, I would say. Like, I'm not going to be like, you should have been more woke. Like, yeah, the Romans like killed your entire culture, but you should have been more woke about it.
Yeah, like usually conservative stuff is a reactionary thing to like. Well, it's just, I guess, reactionary, but it also is something that like I think people can also make sense of if your like culture did face like extinction. You'd be like, okay, yeah, we actually do need to preserve as much of our heritage as possible.
Exactly.
That's the core tenet of like conservative beliefs.
Well, and also like suffering doesn't make you a good person. People can suffer and have like maladaptive reactions to it. And this manifests itself in theology all the time, even beyond Judaism. That's just a lot of theology. Is like people dealing with a traumatic event in a shallow and reactive way. Yeah, it's worth noting that the Romans were also not woke.
I don't think anyone was woke until like 2016.
Yeah, this is the 2nd century. No one was woke back then.
Right. What I'm getting is that being in the past is bad because you'll die. It's bad because you could go to the desert and there's not even an iPhone, and no one's woke.
Woke, exactly.
You can kind of give people a lot of slack for the actions they did before, like the invention of the cellular phone.
Exactly.
Because they didn't have a reason to be smart or anything like that. They didn't have a reason to be woke.
They didn't have TikTok yet. They didn't know about that stuff.
Right. No one did a TikTok dance about how you're not going to get into Hufflepuff if you're a bad person. So no one would know that that's a thing you need to do.
Exactly. There weren't any Roman TikToks about how you're never going to get to join the Vestal Virgins if you say slurs for barbarians.
Right.
Was the public universal friend woke? I think the public universal friend was woke. They were a they them. That's woke.
Yeah.
So
it's also woke to be nice.
Yes, being kind is woke. So you understand like where the Enoch literature came from. Like this, it's very mysterious. We actually don't know a lot about why it was written or who wrote it, but we can make some pretty good guesses, right? It's like this is clearly someone being like, I'm sad that the centerpiece of my national religion was destroyed, and I need to figure out a way to like continue with my religious identity based on that, right? Very reasonable response to such a geopolitical event. So people start asking. So okay. The Enoch literature was like the 3rd century, right? It was still kind of reacting to the destruction of the First Temple, honestly, and the Babylonian captivity and the progression of Hellenization. So around the 2nd century, you've got like the earliest days of rabbinical Judaism start to form, right? They're trying to separate themselves, like distinguish themselves from the early Christians and the other proto-Jewish sects. Like the Pharisees are trying to figure out, like, okay, what is it going to look like to be rabbis? And some Jews start asking the question. It's like, oh yeah, the other thing about the Enoch literature, it was very popular, right? We have a lot of editions of it. It was clearly reprinted in multiple languages all across the Mediterranean. And so a lot of Jewish people start asking questions. It's like, well, hey, Enoch got to go up and see the palaces of heaven. He got to go up and see heaven for himself. Can I also do that? Can I go see heaven? And the reaction from proto-rabbinical Judaism, weirdly enough, seems to be yes. That's
you can just
very
take a
rare.
trip up to heaven.
Yeah, they say yes. There are definitely ways that you can, like, squeeze your soul out of your body like a watermelon seed and shoot yourself up to heaven and go on a tour of the divine palaces. They say yes, this is a thing that many rabbis have done, and there's literature about it.
Well, that would, if I heard that probably would make me interested in whatever's going on here, because that sounds like a good time.
Exactly.
Especially if this is the past and there's no,
right, there's no
Fortnite, Google,
TikTok.
iPhone.
You
Right,
can't.
If I go to heaven, I could do kind of whatever I wanted to in heaven, like,
No, you cannot do whatever you want in Jewish heaven. It is a very strict place.
What can I do?
This brings us to the actual topic of today's episode, the Hekalo and Merkava mysticism, the literature of the palaces and thrones. So the way that you get to heaven is this squeezing your soul out of your body like a watermelon seed. The vehicle that takes you up to heaven is called the Merkava, the chariot. And then the thing that takes you to the palaces, the palaces themselves, are the Hekalo, the palaces, right?
Okay.
So the thing about Enoch's trip up to heaven, right? God took him up there himself. He's like, yeah, he's cool. Like, we're gonna let him see. The thing about the Hekalo Merkava mysticism is that they're kind of, this is a crass way of putting it, right? They're kind of a heist literature. It's kind of heist stories. The rabbis that ascend up to the throne of heaven are clearly not allowed to be there. They are sneaking into heaven.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they're still like the leaders of the religion? It feels like you would go to hell if you snuck up into heaven.
Oh, that is an excellent point, my friend. Excellent point. So here's the thing. Heaven is guarded by angels, right? And the angels really, 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 really do not want humans there. They are, whenever the angels see the various rabbis that are ascending into heaven, they freak out and they threaten crazy shit on the rabbis. Like, at one point, Rabbi Akiva is threatened. An angel says that he's going to hit him with 10,000 pieces of iron. At another point, an angel says that he's going to decapitate him and toss his body onto 30,000 axes. At one point, one of the rabbis is threatened with being set on fire from the inside out, but his clothes will stay in place. Like, crazy shit. Like, literally anime shit.
It sounds like hell punishments.
Yes, exactly. But a thing in Judaism is that angels are compelled to follow any properly formed command. They're kind of robots. So if you give them a properly formed Aramaic command, they have to do what you say. So
okay, so you can cast a spell to make an angel do what you want.
Kind of, yeah. Like this. Importantly, a very important distinction is that the rabbis of the Hekalo literature would not call this magic. They would say, no, we are doing the Hekalo, we are performing the Hekalo, it's not magic. Because this is an established thing within Jewish religion. It's something that we can point to sources in the Torah of people doing this, right? It's not magic.
Okay.
First time chat from normal internet user. 30,000 axes is nothing to an angel. It literally isn't. There's a set of angels guarding the seventh palace that are said to be the size of mountains, and they have beards of fire, and they carry swords the size of trees that every time it moves, it leaves trails of lightning in the sky. Like it's shown in anime shit. It's badass.
maybe the angels weren't even like being mean to the humans then. They were just like, "Oh, you guys are angels too. Let's do this, isn't it? We loved it. We love it when this shit happens.
No,
you
they
guys are angels. So
they
you guys
they
must love it, too."
definitely recognize the rabbis as humans.
Oh, okay.
They very much are like the angels do not like humans. They are not a fan of humans, and they because like
So
being up in the palaces of heaven is like a huge heresy. And actually, there's a famous story. One of the 4 rabbis that ascends to the throne, I forget what his original name is, but when he enters the throne, he sees Enoch sitting on the divine throne as the angel Metatron. And he says, "My God, there are 2 powers in heaven," which is the highest heresy in Judaism. And saying this heresy in the throne of God is so, like, it's such a heresy that it's implied that this guy, Rabbi Acher, goes insane. Like, the exact verbiage in the Hebrew is he went outside of himself. He went outside.
he go home.
Yeah,
Or
he
not
go
he
home.
He go out.
Yeah, he go out and he never came back, right?
Okay.
It's said that when like they don't even call him by his rabbinical title anymore. They call him Acher, which is Hebrew for, oh yeah, that is Elisha ben Abuya. But after this, they call him Acher, which is just means the other one. And when they return to Earth, he doesn't even try to follow Jewish law anymore, like because he knows that he's damned. There's this famous story that when he was buried, smoke was issuing from his coffin because he was already being punished. Yes, the insane one is Ben Soma. Yes. Sorry, I mixed up the two.
The guy that started all this off was Enoch. You said he went up to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Did he stay there?
Yes, in the Enoch literature, he was allowed to sit on the divine throne, and he was transformed into an angel of the throne itself.
Why?
We don't know. It's very mysterious. We literally have no idea.
It seems like angels really hate humans, and a guy snuck up into heaven, and they're like, "Okay, you can become one of us." Like that seems very like antithetical to. What
Here's
their
the thing,
shtick is.
Sanity. In the fucking Hekalorabati, the Book of the Greater Palaces, when the 4 ascenders or descenders travel down to the throne of heaven, they see Metatron sitting on the throne, and then the angel Gabriel is like, "Bro, what are you doing sitting on the throne?" and starts whipping him.
Is that the throne of God?
Yeah,
Like,
the
where
throne
has
of
to sit?
God, like the throne of Hashem, Jewish God. Like Metatron is sitting on the throne, and Gabriel is like, "What the fuck are you doing, asshole? Get off the divine throne!" and starts whipping him with a lash of fire.
Okay, that does make sense. What was Metatron doing?
He was sitting on the divine throne.
Why don't get off that? Get off the couch.
He's
You
not.
can't be up
He's
there.
literally not allowed to.
That's not for angels. That's not for little kitty cats. You have to get off the couch.
Yeah, literally.
Only
Like-
Dad can sit on the lazy boy. Yeah.
It's literally like Metatron was sitting on Dad's lazy boy. he was gonna scratch up the leather.
Yeah.
So here's, yeah, okay. To correct an earlier misspeaking, the rabbi that went insane is Ben Soma. There's a bit in the Palaces literature where there's this. It appears to be like a reflecting pool, like a pool of water that's common in a lot of gardens outside of temples. And the rabbis know that, okay, in the next room, in the next chamber, there's going to be a big reflecting pool. And it's going to be made of pure marble, but it's going to look exactly like water. Don't say that it's water. Because if you say that it's water, something bad is going to happen. And then Ben Soma looks at it and he goes, "What the fuck? That looks just like water." And then he goes insane.
Okay, it seems stupid for him to do that.
Yeah.
It seems like they're kind of letting anyone do the whole squeeze your soul like a watermelon seed, get up into heaven thing. They probably should have picked smarter guys, like how we pick astronauts.
Yeah. And then later, there's recensions in the text that talk about what he saw that made him go insane. And
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Water.
No. They say that he
Oh.
saw the gap between the upper waters and the lower waters. Do you want to take a guess as to what that means?
It's like when you have brackish water, and it's like high salinity and low salinity, so like it just doesn't mix right.
No. Have you ever looked at the sea, my friend?
I've seen the sea multiple times.
Yes. So, you know how, like, you look out, and on the horizon, there's a point where the sky meets the ocean, right? Where the upper waters meet the lower waters?
The horizon line, yeah.
Yes. They say that Ben Soma saw the gap between those. They say that it's no larger than the width of 3 fingers. But he saw what was behind it up close, and the sight of this, like of what the universe looked like behind the gap in the heavenly and the earthly waters, drove him mad. He saw into infinity.
And he saw that because he was punished because he said that the marble looked like water.
Yes, like just speaking that into existence, like showed him this glimpse of infinity that like hollowed his brain out.
Okay.
Which is pretty fucking cool, in my opinion.
It's still kind of conceptual. I understand it in concept, but it's still like, so he was like, they like teleported his eyes to like the ocean, and then he saw like a little bimbo between the sky and the water, and that's what it actually is.
We don't really know. It's like he saw through some gap in reality that was like manifested within this marble reflecting pool.
Okay.
So here, let's talk about why this shit is so difficult for me to write about. So there are 5 major texts of this literature. There's 2 books of Palace's literature, 2 books of Throne literature. Then there's its elder cousin, the Enoch Lit, that informs it, and then multiple fragments that were discovered by archaeologists, right? So if you were to sit down and read through all of this literature, like in order, you would say, hey, CT, something weird is happening. A lot of these texts feature the same, like, chunk of text. Like, the same shit happens in a lot of these texts, but in, like, sometimes it's the same and sometimes it's in a different order. Like, it seems like these books are just made of the same, like, 30 or 40 chunks of text in various forms. Mm-hmm. To which I would say that's true. And the thing about each one of these little chunks is that they all have their own historical context. Because all of this shit was written in the period where Rabbinical Judaism was trying to figure out how to become Rabbinical Judaism, right? And so a lot of these texts are the result of intersectarian fighting within Rabbinical Judaism, arguing about not only what does it mean to be Jewish in this period, but what does it mean to be a rabbi in this period. And there's lots of extremely niche, extremely specific arguments that are represented in every single one of these little fragments, and you have to understand all of that. You have to understand the forces behind every little fragment if you want to understand the literature as a whole. This is so complicated that modern scholars of Jewish literature invented their own terminology for these texts. The little fragments are called microforms, which are then assembled into more complex macroforms. And trying to study this, the main scholar that I've been reading about this is a guy named Schaefer. If you guys are curious, I'll put him in the Discord in book club. But holy shit, this is some of the most complex historical, like some of the most oh my fucking god, some of the most complex historical investigations of a text that I have ever fucking seen. This is ridiculously complicated. If you want to try and wrap your head around this, I wish you nothing but luck, because I've been studying this for the last 2 weeks, and the fact that anyone knows anything about these texts is frankly a bit mind-boggling to me. So when you say the different forms, it sounds like I'm imagining like there's multiple different like stories all told from different perspectives. Kind of.
Like it's the same story from the same perspective, but there's different changes to it, and those changes are because of whatever factors, socio-cultural.
It's usually like people are. the best guess is that people are trying to make a point, right? People change, like, the story of the water ordeal,
okay.
of, like, Ben Soma looking at the gap between the upper and lower waters, right? Like, that story appears in multiple places, but it's changed in some parts. Like, sometimes it's elaborated on as to what Ben Soma saw, sometimes it's not elaborated on. And each time the story is changed, it's clearly for some complex theological, sociopolitical reason. And trying to explain that is very difficult. So the way I'm resolved to talk about this in my book is basically pointing to this ridiculous complexity and saying, I'm not even going to talk about, like, the Hekalorabati as a book. I'm only going to discuss the microforms. I'm just going to talk about these little chunks and how they appear in the various texts. It's like Rashomon with theology. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So it sounds like there's the original story, which we may not know what is the original out of all of these different ones, and then different people have chosen to either add things or make things up or whatever in order to make a point for that specific thing.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
There's a word for that. I don't know what the word is though, but like that's it's the same thing you can do with, I mean, like anything, but like you can say that like the different interpretations of the Bible for whatever reason. It's obviously a very applicable thing there, but like, yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, you get it.
Yay.
You freaking
Yay.
get it. It's awesome. It's awesome when this happens. Yay.
Awesome sauce.
Yay. Exegesis? Maybe. I don't know. So there's a lot of these little microforms, and it's stuff like a huge part, one of the biggest microforms that shows up is long lists of angelic names and the passwords used to get past those angels. Oftentimes you need to prepare various sigils that you need to show to them, like a sort of flag of passage. Sometimes it's just a long list of seemingly nonsensical Hebrew characters that one of the other big scholars of this literature, Gershom Scholem, was a philologist, like a scholar of historical languages. He points out that a lot of these sacred names, these like password, like they seem like garbled, just nonsense. But he points out that a lot of them are like coded Latin terms or are like a Hebrew transliteration of a Koine Greek term. Like they all have weird, interesting origins that Gershom Scholem points out, and like the reasons as to why specific angel names match up with specific passwords is like interesting and mysterious and not something I know much about.
It sounds like a D&D adventure where you have to like go into, and each thing has like a secret keyword, but if you like piece it back, it's like, oh, this is the keyword because this is the monkey statue, and the monkey statue likes bananas. Exactly.
No, there's a lot of interesting rationale behind that, but all of it does remain fairly mysterious. A good rule of thumb is whenever you see like if you want a fun scholarly term for the weird little nonsense terms you see in historical esoterica, it's called nomina barbara, barbarous names, which things that seem like nonsense at first but usually have some magical purpose. And the thing with nomina barbara is there's always a reason for why they're there. You have to assume that whoever wrote it makes sense to them, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you've got these long lists of angelic names and passwords and whatnot, and the sigils you need to draw to make the angels allow you passage. There's also like the humbling of Metatron, where Gabriel whips him for sitting on the throne. That's a thing. That's another microform that shows up in several texts. The water ordeal, that's another one. Let's see. There's a lot. I wrote the Shior Chama, the measurement of the heights, or the measurement of the body, which is that in the Enoch literature, one of the things that the rabbis are allowed to do when they show up in the divine throne room is they're allowed to measure the body of God. I think we've talked about this before, at least to the stream, maybe not to Sanity, but that's definitely the weirdest form of Jewish mysticism that I've seen evidence of. Is this, like, it's shit like God's fingers are like 30,000 Persian parasongs long and shit like that. It's like he has these really long, creepy witch fingers.
What? Why would they do that?
I don't know. This is a really interesting form of Jewish mysticism, partially because like there's a lot of guesses as to what exactly is happening in it, and no one really knows. Like, it's clear that like the numbers are probably significant for some like Notaricon way or like gematria type shit, but like we really don't know the significance of a lot of the measurements. Also, like each one of God's nostrils has a name. His left eye has a name. His right eye has a name. And they're all like, it's like his left eye is called the taker and the other one is called the mover. Like,
Okay.
it's weird, interesting shit like that. And we really don't know the significance of a lot of these mystical names. It's very enticing. It's part of why I love this literature specifically, is that it's full of shit that clearly meant something to 2nd century Judaism, but its exact meaning is kind of obscure and has been lost to history, but we can make a lot of very good sounding guesses that make you feel like you might be able to get close if you like think about it real hard.
I guess it kind of makes sense because like I can also see like I think the number one like okay, I don't believe in God because like this or whatever is like, well, you know, you say he's so big, you say he's so formless, I don't believe that. So then if you can have a thing that's just like actually he's exactly 35 spans big and this wide or whatever, if you can put like direct numbers to it, at least then when you're in an argument with someone you can be like, actually, yeah, here it is, he's exactly this big. And it's such a large number that like you can't even like concept or conceive rather like,
Maybe
how big it possibly could be.
Like, there isn't really a sense that the Shir Kama, this measurement mysticism, was ever shared outside of rabbinical circles. It's
so
only
it was
mentioned.
only like internal then.
Yeah, it was like only mentioned within this mystical literature. We don't really have any sources that anyone else knew about this shit.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weirdly mysterious. Like, it's clearly like there's people ask like, okay, well, who was actually writing this shit? Because there's a lot of things in it that are like ostensibly anti-rabbinical. Like, you know, you've got the idea that rabbis can travel up to the palaces of heaven and like, you know, go see the throne of God is kind of heretical, right?
That seems crazy heretical.
Yeah, and that was
Like-
not lost on the Judaism of the time. So scholars now ask, like, well, who the fuck was it writing this shit? And Schaeffer argues that it was probably low-level, poorly paid scribes working at synagogues, right? Like, a guy who maybe kind of knows how to read, and his job is basically just copying symbols down onto texts. Because the really important thing about the Hekalo Merkava literature that I really want to leave you all with is that it is literature. It's not just theology. It's distinctly fun to read. There's a lot of like tropes from, you know, adventure stories, like adventure literature in them. It's clearly written in the spirit of popular literature while at the same time having some shit to say about Jewish theology. Like, yeah, it's written like a really badass theological, like, magic heist adventure, but once you get into the Divine Throne Room, the seraphim and ophanim and divine beasts that make up the God's throne, they clearly mirror the nobility, priests, and judges of the recently destroyed Second Temple, right? There's clearly a point underneath all of it, which is saying, like, don't worry that the temple was destroyed because... Don't worry that the physical temple was destroyed because the heavenly temple is still going strong, right?
Right.
And it's this intersection of, like, popular literature and theology that makes the Hekalo literature such an so enduringly popular, right? It's allowed to exist in this kind of heightened state between explicit theology and, like, serious but not serious literature that makes it really interesting to read.
Yeah, it does kind of just sound like fan fiction made by people who were either like very excited about literature but thought it was kind of boring, or not literature but like I guess the religion as a whole, and then also people that are like, okay, well, if you're going to say that, then, you know, here's some other stuff that's actually important you could throw in there too.
No, exactly. Oh man, okay. So the reason that I think that this is true, that I think like yeah, it's probably like poorly paid scribes like kind of vibing, is that that's basically all magical literature in the medieval era, right? Like anytime you see weird semi-heretical magical literature like from Christians in the medieval era, it's almost always produced by poorly paid semi-literate scribes working at churches. So I think this is just an early Jewish example of that exact phenomena.
That would make sense.
There was an argument that this was actually like coded anti-rabbinical literature, that it was actually like, it was maybe like people closer to the early Christians writing like trying to own the rabbis and saying like, look at all this silly shit that they do. But I think that's bullshit. Like that's some weird 4D chess shit of like, yeah, look at these rabbis doing badass shit like traveling up to the throne of heaven and evading these angels that keep threatening to do kung fu at them.
Yeah, it seems too cognizant and interesting for that to be the case.
It also clearly has like shit to say about Judaism.
Yeah.
And it clearly implies that like, oh hey, this guy's using the same, oh no, that's an Ignis. That's not my weapon.
Oh, kill him. Dispatch of him in post haste. It's worked. It's working.
That sounds sussy. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't believe that. I'm pretty sure the Heckel literature is almost definitely just like poorly paid scribes. Throws my ball.
But if that was the case, like, I guess who were they making it for? Because it sounds like my first read, well, based off what you said, was like, it's like a way to get like children into like religion. It being like, here's this cool story of like old Rabbi Jim and the time it's like not Johnny Appleseed, but it's I guess I don't know.
Well, like Paul Bunyan.
There's probably maybe there's like parallels to like the Dante, and like
yeah,
he went to hell and like went around, and obviously that's much further because he's like, oh yeah, he saw these people that are like modern people that are assholes that are going to die and go to hell, which is, I would say, definitely a further departure. But for the rest of the stuff, I mean, it's certainly interesting. It sounds like a D&D adventure.
It does.
Like, if you open up the back of the book and like look upside down, there's secret codes you can use to make angels do your bidding.
Yeah, exactly. By now. It was probably for other scribes. It was probably for other people, like either in training to be rabbis or like or people who were already rabbis. Like one of the important things you got to remember about any religion is that it's never as orthodox as it says it is. Like people are always doing weird, syncretic, heretical shit. Ugh. Okay, anyone? Wow, we're already about an hour in. God damn. Are angels and angles the same thing? I don't think so. All right, guys. Any questions?
I think that's just a perversion of the English language.
Yeah, I think English is just wrong, and they do evil things on purpose because they hate us. What are these text-specific grievances with rabbis? Well, okay. That's a thing that modern scholars have said, where it's like, well, they depict rabbis doing heretical things, like things that are not in line with Jewish law. And it's like, okay, well, the Torah does that too. Like, rabbis do a lot of weird shit in the Mishnaic literature. So it's like, that's a theory. I don't buy it, but that's a theory. Hang on, let me close my window.
Patient Ghostwriter says that when they were a medical scribe, they would write D&D sessions between patients, which like, that was also the case when I had like my first job. Like I would be doing stuff, but I'd be thinking about like D&D or whatever, and I just kind of let my mind wander and then write it down. Especially if like I guess how to write in a time when that's not the case. It makes sense that it's preserved because I think it also probably sounds like, I don't know, if you don't know that much about like all of this theology, it might just from a overall glance be like, oh yeah, these are like probably canon texts. Like this all makes sense. They have the right words in there. They talk about the right things. And then if you read to page 800, you're like, hold on, why is this angel doing nunchucks with balls?
Right, right. Let's see. Did the rabbis who went to heaven like directly meet God or just see his body? It depends on the texts. The later texts, the rabbis don't actually meet God. They don't actually see the body. They just they see the throne. There's interesting reasons for that decision. It's like possible that like you don't actually get to meet God. Like, you get to see Metatron, and it's like even the most powerful being in heaven is like just an angel, and his boss is God, who's like even more transcendent. How's the illicit nature of these acts described? Like, do they say shit like "do not do this"? The rabbis in the stories are punished for fucking up. Like Ben Soma goes insane. Acher is like, Acher's fucked. Like he's just like, I give up. Like, there is definitely a sense that like, if you stray from the rules even a little bit when you're in the palaces of heaven, like horrible things happen to you. Repeating since you might have missed it, but a blessed feeling compared it to Goliardic poetry. I don't know much about Goliardic poetry, so that's why I didn't respond to that. I'm dumb and stupid, and I'm a hack fake occultist. Anti-rabbinical in that rabbis are naughty and tell angels what to do with secret codes that have secret powers. Yeah, which, like, it's a silly way of putting it, but like, yeah, there is a sense that this was controversial for Judaism at the time. Like, it's not that everyone was like, oh, this is badass and we're having fun doing it. People really did not like this literature. I don't know if this is more common in Jewish literature, but it feels pretty consistent to depict holy men as being just as susceptible or being flawed. It's also like, this is an especially dramatic example of that in Jewish literature. Like, there's a lot of like Mishnaic literature and later texts that were like attributed to semi-legendary rabbis doing crazy cool shit. But this is an especially dramatic example of it.
Okay,
like
so I have a question.
Hang on. Like, in what sense are they forbidden? Do the texts talk about this stuff as being forbidden? Well, I think it's... Okay, this is speculation on my part. I think it's assumed that anyone reading this text is going to be generally familiar with Jewish law, right? There's a lot of specifically rabbinical shit happening in this, so I think it's assumed that the reader knows that what the rabbis are doing is forbidden or almost forbidden. Probably spurious, but if I squint, I can see a similarity between this and the Orphic literature and other underworld descents. You are probably not wrong. There are several microforms that clearly bear like Greco-Roman mystic influence. I don't know about Orphic specifically, but like the Pardis, the gardens, like the sort of gardens outside of the various temples and palaces in the Palace of Heaven, that's a Persian thing. There's clearly a lot of influence from other Near Eastern religious cultures in the Hechelo literature. Let's see. Excurian Yuri, great username. Rabbis were always shooting lasers from their eyes and calling down lightning to win arguments and whatnot back then. They were not. Only Shimon Bar Yochai could shoot lasers from his eyes, and it was only when he got really mad.
That's like when his cursed eye opens and his demon wing unfurls.
He's literally the most chuny rabbi. Like, objectively.
I have to Google what that means.
You know about my cursed eye is activating, but you don't know what Chuniobu is?
No. Oh, I see. It's short for Chuniobu, which means the second year of middle school sickness. That's such a funny way to describe that. That is the perfect way to describe exactly that.
Yeah. He's literally like the... No, it's like Shimon Bar Yochai is literally the most chuny rabbi. That's funny.
I like that it's called a sickness. Yeah, you're diagnosed with being in 8th grade.
Exactly. Loki reminds me of all the stories of St. Patrick and the most wizard of all wizards. This is more of a curiosity than a direct question. I got really into trying to find out more about Lupinus Caesar nickname for an evil emperor. Seems to be specific to Jewish literature of the time. Yes. eyes glowing like the Robert Downey Jr. in Avengers Doomsday AI clip. No, it's in the literature. It specifically said that Shimon Bar Yochai emerges from a cave and sees like all of the Hellenization and Romanization that the Jews were undergoing, and like he was so mad that it's something like torrents of lava shot from his eyes and incinerated 30 Roman centurions or some shit.
Good for him.
Yeah, yeah. Is it Latin in the text? In what text? What do you mean Latin? Although I don't think most of this is in Latin. Like I think Latin would not be the common tongue for like another 300 years. Most of the shit's in Greek or Hebrew. Lupinus Caesar. Oh, in the text of the Hechelo. Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading some shit about that. I didn't know who that guy was, but it's like I didn't investigate it too much. But yeah, I remember reading that. All very good questions, y'all. Keep them coming.
We're back.
Oh, we could do a, Let's see, did I miss anything? Yeah, Acher just means the other guy. Yeah, it means the other one, the other guy. Like, he's not even the rabbi anymore. He's just Acher. He's not Ben Soma, he's the other one. Elisha ben Abuya. Yeah, he becomes Acher. There are a lot of proper names in general, or are some of those historical? I don't know what you mean. Do you have a recommendation for reading these yourself? I know that Hekelo Rabati is on Sepharia. Like, it has a really good translation where you can see, like, word-by-word translations of shit. I can't remember the name of it. It's like, I'm reading a book called, like, the Hekelo in Translation. That's the one that I'm using as an official source for the book. Was Hekelo a quest for knowledge, or was there a promise of being exalted in some way? It seems more like knowledge. All of the rabbis that travel up to heaven, I never got the sense that they were trying to become angels like Metatron. Like, they were never trying to ascend into being an angel. I missed the part of the lecture, so I don't know if this was answered, but were there commentaries about these texts similar to early Christians where they would talk shit or critique about it? I know there were like Talmudic commentaries on this, but how many there were, what the nature of them was, how seriously they were taken, I have no idea.
So did people get to go to heaven after they died?
The Judaism doesn't really talk about the afterlife that much. Like, it's not that important. There's like,
what's the point of anything then?
Well, it's following Jewish law. That's how you fix the world.
Oh, it's to make your current life good.
Yeah, it's and to make the world for like people coming after you better. What were the rabbis trying to accomplish up there? Did they seek virtue or illicit knowledge? I think they sought knowledge, because that's kind of the historical pressure that underlies all this literature. Is like, you've got the Enoch literature where it's like you get to go up to heaven and see God's plan for the universe, and the Hekelo Merkavah literature is kind of like, okay, well, Enoch got a golden ticket, but can I sneak into Wonka's factory myself? Can I like go learn this? Can I go learn this firsthand?
So why did he get a golden ticket? Why was Enoch so special?
He was particularly spiritually pure or some shit.
Oh, Goku.
Yeah. I heard
he
vaguely.
could ride the Nimbus Cloud.
Yes, I heard vaguely of the concept of Sheol as a Jewish afterlife. Sheol is just kind of like, it's kind of like purgatory. It's like you go there to like it's like you go there to like have your sins purged or whatever, but it's there isn't a sense that it's like torture or anything. It's framed more as like a process of purification, like putting metal in a fire. Yeah, Sheol is detox. It's like detox for materialism. And then they don't really have a heaven. There's just like the world to come.
So
Sheol is like Hades. Totally not Hellenic. Go ahead.
After you get pured, then what happens?
You go to the world to come.
Which is not heaven?
Which is not heaven.
What is it?
The world to come.
What do you do there?
I don't know. They don't really talk about it.
They don't talk. It seems like that would... If I was going to buy into this whole situation... Well, granted, it was... Actually, I guess it's the past. So you probably are much more concerned about making the current times better than you are, like, in a potential infinite life. Because I'd imagine shit sucks so bad, even the concept of, like, oh, after you die, you get to live infinitely. Like, you'd have to really sell that to make that worthwhile for people. They probably were like, actually, I don't think I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived for an amount of time here. It was not the best.
The world to what? Exactly. Yeah, it's like Jewish literature is not concerned with, like, the world to come or Sheol. They just, like, they really don't spend a lot of time caring about it. It's not important. Judaism is far more concerned with, like, what does it mean to follow Jewish law in this context or that context?
So it seems like they're not trying to get people to convert. They're trying to get people that are already bought into the system to be like,
yes,
yeah, this is
Judaism. Judaism does not evangelize. In fact, it's quite difficult to convert to Judaism.
Didn't that one Argentinian prime minister or whatever say he was going to do it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. Like, I mean, you can do it. It's possible. It's just like, if you ask a Christian that you want to get baptized, they get all excited and hold a party.
It's called a water party.
It's called a water party, but if you want to convert to Judaism, you got to, like, read a bunch of fucking books and shit.
Yeah.
They make you, like, write essays. Bunch of freaks.
It seems like, though, for the long-term, like, growth of a religion, you would want it to be really easy to convert and have good incentives to, or, like, free healthcare or something.
Well, but why would you want to convert people? Like,
because then if the whole point of the religion is, like, you're going to make them all follow Jewish law and that's going to make the world way better, wouldn't you want 1,000 shooters to make the world way better as opposed to just, like, a specific sect of people?
well, not really. It's like it's like, who cares if if non-Jews are following Jewish law? Like, that's how most of Judaism sees that. It's like, no, it's like the core of Judaism is a covenant with God. It's like, originally it was a vassal contract, right? It was like, I am the Lord thy God, worship me, I'll give you this land, I'll protect you, and in response, just worship me, right? But then the land got pretty thoroughly trounced by the Romans, and they were like, okay, well, now it's just following Jewish law, and he just protects those who follow the law.
Right. So, but, like, it seems as though, and I'm not a historian by any means, they've been getting trounced somewhat historically.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though the history might include a lot of, like, we're here and we don't really like people, and then they come and really beat us up.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, it seems like you might want more shooters on your side. Just try to get anyone you can, just to be like, actually, yeah, we're with these guys, we're going to protect them.
Not necessarily. Maybe you want a smaller target.
That is the survivability on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it, from what you said, too, is, like, they had very, like... Oh, no, they didn't have desirable land. Well, no, didn't they? Because didn't the land they have, wasn't that, like, the big trading center or something?
It was, but it's also, like, not great land.
Right, desert land.
Yeah, it's, like, literally a rock in the middle of the desert. But the other thing is, like, Judaism is far more concerned with adaptation, like changing what it, like, you know, if you're constantly under threat, you're probably gonna try and run a little more of a flexible religion, something that can dodge.
But it seems as though, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. It's just that when I imagine that, like a flexible religion that can dodge, I would imagine like an open for all customers. Like, come on, join. We're very flexible. We'll adapt to whatever you've got going on, so that you guys can help us in the future. But it sounds like it's a survival for the sake of the people that are already.
Ariel Shadowcat makes a great point in chat. Also, if Jews started trying to convert Christians or Muslim in the Middle Ages, they would have gotten mega slaughtered immediately.
Well, I don't think it would be like forced conversion. I just think it would be more like you have the opportunity to join us if you want to.
Well, yeah, that's a thing in Judaism. You can join if you want.
But it's difficult and hard.
Yeah, you got to write
People
an
don't
essay
do
and
the hard
shit.
thing. Ugh. You have to have the bibliography, and we're excited.
Yeah, you do. You got to go to school too.
Oh my god, I can't even write. I live in the desert. It sucks.
Yup. Fuck, I'm late for God class. Exactly. You're gonna be late for shul. Yeah, they don't want people doing Judaism wrong. That's a big old problem in Judaism.
That's what I'm talking. Like, it seems like there's a disconnect between we're a very flexible religion and you need to do it right. You can't do it wrong. Like, it seems like there's a flexibility and then like an inflexibility.
Nonsense. No, that's what lets you. The fact that Judaism can constantly reorganize itself for new situations is why it's survived so long.
I see. So if you forgot your God homework, you could be like, actually, the religion it can form itself back around. I didn't forget it. My dog ate it, and that's fine.
Yeah, what if some sneaky Shabbatians are putting micro scratches in knives so every slaughter is non-halachic? Exactly. That one's just for me. That was just a little joke for me.
I saw that. Oh, I saw the thing before of like we are fucked. They're like making our knives bad, so we can't use our knives.
Yup.
I just didn't know what any of the words meant.
So the effect that Heckle Merkava mysticism would have on later Jewish esoterica would be pretty dramatic. Like the big one is that this literature is kind of why Kabbalah exists, right? Like, you could describe Kabbalah as an attempt by Moshe de Leon to bring this literature more in line with canonical Jewish scripture, right? Like trying to orthodoxize it, right? Trying to pull it into the fold, because there is a lot of pseudo heretical shit in it. So but it's pretty cool. And you could describe Kabbalah later in the 13th century as an attempt to kind of like revisit this literature and figure out how it could be applied to modern Judaism. The other way that this manifests is that the similarities between this literature and like Greek mystical rites would not be lost on later occultists. Partially, the fact that this literature is so fun to read, like that it's such a cool adventure story, would go on to influence how a lot of other mystical literature is written, especially in later occult circles. The big one being the adventures of John Dee and Edward Kelly, their mystical system, the Enochian mystical system, is very clearly heavily based on this literature. Although instead of like ascending into the 7 palaces and the 72 chambers and the 144 passages and whatnot, they have the whole system of the 4 watchtowers and the 38 years. I need some water. Been talking a lot.
John Kelly is a name that I've heard you say before.
John D.
Nope,
Edward Kelly.
John D. Kelly. Well, that's my ship name for them.
D. Kelly?
John Kelly.
They were a little gay.
Aww.
They did swap wives.
Wives or lives?
Wives.
Oh, that's straight.
Maybe. One of them was too pussy to do it. One of them didn't fuck the other guy's wife.
But the other one did?
Yeah.
It sounds like that guy just got to have sex with another dude's wife.
Yeah, it does seem like that, doesn't it?
It doesn't really seem when you phrase it like that, it just more seems like, hey man, I'm just gonna have sex with your wife now.
It seems like Edward
okay.
Kelly just fucked John Dee's wife.
And they were like, no, hold on, it was a thing. We had it all set up.
No, it was for magic shit. It was for magic shit.
Listen, in order to cast the fireball, you have to let me fuck your wife.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you think that's a joke, and then later when Crowley and his assistant also did the Ascension of the 38th Years, they just had sex with each other.
See that I like that makes more sense.
They
That
just
seems
had
more
straight up gay
spiritual.
sex.
Were the wives also into like magic and mysticism?
Presumably, yes.
Oh, I'm imagining like it's like, you know, two neighbors that are like close buds since like high school, and then
Hey, Billy.
like-
Hey, John.
legitimately, yeah. And then they like you know, every weekend they go off to the church to like practice their new cult or whatever, and then one comes home and it's like, well, in order for us to cast fireball, you have to let John fuck you. And then John goes home and is like, I get to fuck Ed's wife or whatever the fuck his name was.
Golly.
Golly gee. Yeah, also they're old timey.
Yeah. Also, it's the 1950s, and they're having a real crackerjack time.
We gotta bring back those phraseologies.
I unironically say golly. People were like, "Oh my gosh, you're saying that because it's like a meme phrase." It's like, no, I just say golly.
I say golly gee, but only when I really fuck up.
I say golly and neat. A lot of shit is neat. A lot of shit is neat as fuck.
What's the James has been saying drat, and they say it as if they haven't been saying, like it's like not a new thing. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
I've always been saying drat, and I'm like, there's just no fucking way you've always been saying drat. It's like yipes. Like no one says that.
Yeah. We should get James to start saying willikers.
We could make James start saying willikers.
We can force James to start saying willikers.
Yeah, force Willy.
Force Williker.
At one point I forgot Willy Wonka's name, so I called him I think like Billy Wonka or something. And then for some reason I got into like the bit of like, you know, when your mom's angry at you and she says your full legal name.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Billiam fucking bonkers. And I said that probably for like 3 years in response to like anyone asking me to do anything. Like if everything was strange, I'm like, oh, dude, that's straight up Billiam bonkers.
Billiam
It was
fucking
my,
bonkers stares at you without blinking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nito is pretty good. I've never said Gadzooks unironically, though.
I said Nito when I was a child.
I have definitely said Nito Bandito.
Nito Bandito. Never heard
Yeah.
that one before.
Nito Bandito. He's killed 11 people.
The only time I've heard Bandito referenced in my life is in a 21 Pilots song. But that's just because I'm not from the West Coast.
Was the knowledge that the rabbis were looking for itself licit or illicit? Oh, shit, that's a good question. I don't know if it was licit or illicit. Like, I can't say either way, but there is a sense that it could not have been learned outside of the Hekalo. Like, this was the only way to acquire this particular knowledge. Do you think Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard ever did anything gay? No, they didn't really hang out. And
don't
L.
think
Ron
L.
Hubbard
Hubbard
was
did
very
anything gay.
straight. Like,
Yeah. He seems like one of those guys during the Red Scare that would just start yelling names.
that's it. Like, blessed feeling. That's a good question, though. Like, I mean, that's a fucking PhD thesis right there. It's like, how licit was the knowledge gained from the Hekalo mysticism? Why did the rabbis simply not ask God for his shoe size? Well, they had to bring they brought a damn ruler up to heaven.
So did God say anything when he was getting measured?
I don't think so. There's no sense that he did. Just kind of laid there.
It kind of makes sense. I've been like sized for suits before, and it's always awkward if like I've asked them like, oh, like what's my, you know, what's my arm length or whatever, and then they'll be like, oh, they'll say a number and I'll just kind of nod and I won't remember it. and then I won't know like I think one time I was like what size my neck, and they're like this, and I'm like, oh, is that good? Is that big? Am I gonna be able to find shirts or something? And they just kind of laugh. I'm
Am I
imagining
in
there's probably the same
trouble?
amount of awkwardness for God.
You're in trouble because your neck is too fat.
That was a problem for a little bit. I did football for 4 years in high school, so every Wednesday we had a neck machine, which is
What?
like just a thing you push your forehead against, and you like push it down with your forehead to get like a stronger neck, because the way you get concussions in football usually is your neck like snaps like a rubber band back and forth and hits your brain.
Oh my god, that's
Um,
horrible.
So I have a very strong and very like big neck as a result. So I would like go to get shirts, and I'm like, actually, do you have a special neck shirt? I need a special sized neck shirt for my special neck. Everyone should do the neck machine, by the way. It makes your neck strong.
Why?
It makes your neck it makes your neck strong.
Right,
CT.
but why is that a good thing?
Well, so you've heard of tech neck. You've heard of the iPhone hunch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that what that's called?
That's like, yeah, when you like look at your phone, it's actually called a pronated neck, I believe. Look, when your head's kind of like hunched over. Part of it's because like your head's heavy when you're looking down constantly. The muscles that keep your neck like upright and in perfect posture like atrophy because you're not using them to keep your neck upright.
Oh.
Which is also why like one of the quote unquote fixes for stuff like that is literally just to like have good posture for an amount of time throughout the day, because even just holding your body in that position will gain the muscles there.
Yup.
This is my esoterica.
It's true. I've been working out a lot recently, and I've had to like pay more attention to shit like that.
Yeah. I used to do like I was working out I think 6 days a week for a while.
Wow.
And then I took a little break because I didn't want to be sore for some stuff I had coming up. And now I'm getting back into it. And I did one of my normal leg days on Monday, and it's Friday, and I still can barely walk.
Yup.
I'm like, oh, I forgot. You have to go easy when you get back into it.
I've been working out every day for a couple months now, and
Oh, like strength training or like flexibility cardio?
kind of. I try to do a mix of both. Like it's usually like as soon as I wake up and feed my cat, I head out and just like there's a gym by my house. I do like 3 sets of 8 on every machine, just like trying not to hurt myself. I also do
So
cardio.
What I will recommend, well, it kind of depends on what your goals are, and I don't want to proselytize about like
No, go ahead.
lifting and stuff like that. Generally, if you're doing strength training, you want to give your body 24, usually 48 to 72 hours after each muscle group has worked in order for the muscles to recover. Because in order for your muscles to actually grow, during the process of lifting, you make micro tears in your muscle fibers, and to make them grow, they grow while resting. So that's why you need as much protein and water and sleep as possible. Because if you don't get that and you continue to like work out, you'll continue to tear your muscles, but they will never grow. So you'll just kind of end up usually damaging yourself, but also kind of plateauing and then not getting to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
If you're specifically trying to strength train, and this is where I could go on a 4-hour long like tangent for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to build muscle overall, the best thing you actually can do is basically go until failure, and then give yourself like 3 to 4 days off of that muscle group and let it fully come back to 100%, and then like go to failure again later on. You also want to give yourself a long time of rest between each set that you're doing. So like when I was powerlifting, I was very good at powerlifting, but we would basically do, I think like 3 or 4 hours of working out, but it's because between each set we gave like 10-15 minutes for our heart rate to drop down to like 80 or 90.
Oh, interesting.
It's easier to like fully exert yourself at that point. I wouldn't recommend that for the average person, and in fact there's a lot of studies that are coming out currently that basically say like if you are going to work out, you should probably do like a 30 to 45 minute strength workout and do like 4 exercises, like 3 sets of 10 or something like that, but like basically max like weight, and then just get out of there. Like it's very against the 1970s logic of like Arnie was famous for being like you need to be in the gym every single day and doing like all this stuff. the reason why they said that, and the reason why people think that's the case, is because those people were on insane amounts of steroids.
Yes.
And what
And
steroids
cocaine.
do? Yes, that's also true. They don't actually make your muscles grow. Well, they kind of do. They make your recovery time much shorter. So if that's the case, you can be in the gym every single day for 8 hours a day. But for everyone else, you really want to give it as much time as possible. It's better to give your body a little bit more time and kind of go slowly than it is to do everything too long.
Nods. That makes sense. At the moment, I'm really just like, I spent a long time like not working out, like being completely sedentary. I'm really just trying to like, at the moment, I'm just working out to feel good. Like, I'm not trying to strain my body. I'm not trying to like grow muscles or anything. In fact, I enjoy my generally lithe and twinkish physique. It's nice to like just engage my muscles again and like engage my body. My brain works better when my blood is flowing properly. It also helps with the POTS a lot. Like it just helps my blood flow be more consistent. I don't really have any goals. I'm just trying to like get my cardio up and make it so that I don't like groan like an old man every time I try to stand up.
That generally is what I would say 98% of Americans should be doing when they go to the gym, as opposed to like doing the other thing, like specifically for strength training. Because it also, like, to your point too, you do not want you don't want the Arnold Schwarzenegger body. You might want right. You might want definition depending on what you want, but you don't need like muscles that are the size of a semi truck hunter. And for that, what you're doing actually is good. You actually can do the opposite of what I said, which is you basically want to up the amount of reps you're doing, lower the time between cardio or between sets. You will raise your muscular endurance, and depending on how frequently you're doing it, cardiovascular endurance. And what I'd recommend basically everyone do, especially if you have a sedentary lifestyle like most Americans, is get into some form of yoga or stretching. And honestly, 5 minutes a day, even depending on what you're doing, you will see really fast in terms of like a body development is much slower than people actually think. But you literally will experience a lot of progress pretty quickly. The general rule of thumb, this is like a pop psych thing from like 1970s, is 3-3-3. Like it takes 3 weeks for your body to experience a change. 3-6-9, and then 6 weeks for other people to notice a change, and up to 9 weeks for you to notice a change in your body. So
interesting.
If you're, like, this is also why people tend to get like dissuaded from going to the gym. They will go for 2 or 3 weeks and then not feel any different, and they're like, well, what's the point? Nothing's changed. It takes a long time.
That's
continual
crazy
activity
to me. Like when I started working out again, for those first 2 days, getting back from the gym, I literally felt high. Like I was like, this is amazing.
People also, it might surprise you, they're not really in tune with their body, and they might come back from the gym and just like not understand like the reason they feel so good is because of all the endorphins that are in their body from working out.
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
And that's like also like, if you look at the people that the grind set CEO culture, people that work like 80 hours a week and like actually work, like are killing themselves doing work constantly, they get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and go for like a 5-mile run and then do strength training and stuff, and have like 3 hours at the beginning of their morning of just doing like running around and doing shit, because it raises their endorphins, gets their blood flowing. It also helps with cognition. There's a lot of really good benefits to exercising.
I'm literally a better writer after I've worked out.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I think the main reason why Americans don't do it is because it's like, who has the time if you work a 9-to-5 job that you're driving 2 hours to back and forth, and who can afford, you know, a gym or whatever if you can't find a cheap gym or like the YMCA or something. Like, it's so good for people, but I think people are like kind of inherently dissuaded by the way that like modern society is structured to go to the gym and to feel good.
It's like an actual investment, and people get fucking nervous. Like people, it makes me sad when people are like shy about going to the gym and like working out, because they're like, oh, what if people make fun of me? It's like, people at the gym are some of the nicest motherfuckers I've ever met. Like, people are so kind.
I will always say that like I have never met nicer people than at the gym. Like, so for reference there too, when in high school, like I went into high school as a freshman. I started playing football. I didn't know any football players. I didn't know like anyone in the gym. And granted, these are high school jocks that I'm talking about. Like, I went in and I was like, everyone's gonna basically hate me. This kind of like sucks. And within like a couple days of going there somewhat consistently, these people, some of them have been arrested. I know multiple people that are like just generally like
Some of them
assholes
are
and have been
addicted to Oxycontin now.
I'm sure. Like, there was a dude who at one point I kind of like a little bit became his friend after a while, and I was talking about like the new Nintendo Switch or whatever, or DS or something. And I was like, "Oh, you gonna get one?" He's like, "I'm probably just gonna steal it. There's a guy on my bus who has one. I'm just gonna probably like try to."
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Oh my god, what?" Because when I was talking with him, like, he never gave off any of those signs. He was extremely. He would go out of his way and stop his sets to help me, and I didn't even ask. And then like it became clear after a little talking with him, I was like, oh, this guy doesn't know that's not an acceptable thing to do. Like,
Right,
he's
right.
like 16 years old or whatever, and he's always been able just to like push people around and get whatever he wanted. And
Right.
he just didn't understand that like you can't do that to people, man.
Right, he
Like,
doesn't understand that that's wrong.
legitimately. And I told him, I was like, you can't do that. He's like, what are you talking about? He's fine with it. I'm like, he's not fine with it, man. Like,
He's
the
just
guy you're
scared of you.
shoving and taking this shit. Yeah, you're intimidating him. And he was like, oh. But I mean, that's high school.
That's
Also,
crazy, man.
I've also like been to like gyms in like other places. I went to gyms like beach towns. I've been to gyms in the college towns when I was going to college. Even just like hotel gyms, like just like going around. Almost everyone there, like 85 to 99% of the time, people will just kind of not say or do anything to you or notice you or anything. It's a bit difficult because when you're in the gym, there's not really anywhere to look other than around or at your body or at your phone. So
Right.
people, you might feel like people are staring at you. No one in the gym gives a fuck. And I
Right.
can also tell you that like in terms of like the self-consciousness too, there are people I know that are like look like Arnold Schwarzenegger and are the reason why that is because they have like bad body like image mental stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that guy that just joined the gym for the first day ever looks so much better than I ever will. And like will be intimidated by the average schmo just like walking around the gym.
Right. It's
like,
man, I
more
bet he
freaking-
also joined the gym today, and that's all he did one rep and now he looks like that? Fuck.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Like for the first like 2 times I got back into working out, I was like, I feel crazy amazing. This is like I literally felt high. And now after like 3 months of consistent work, I'm like, it just feels nice. It's just like kind of whatever. Like I don't really feel much of anything, but I know that it's like, okay, yeah, I think half of it is literally just the mental satisfaction that I woke up and like worked out today.
Yeah.
And that
so the
feels
other thing with
nice.
The other thing with that too is that you probably have increased your cardiovascular and muscular endurance to the point where you can also do things like high intensity interval training now that you have like a little bit of a baseline, and doing things like sprinting and getting your heart rate up like at the beginning of a workout, and then kind of like going through with like a general like higher heart rate. You can get that like endorphin like flood. Like you can feel crazy. Like there's the
Yup.
concept of a runner's high, which is not really a thing. It's like a mixture of the endorphins going up, like around, and also you just being like delirious from running for 26 miles, and your body's like shutting down, and you went past the wall, and it's like, okay, you might die. I'm just gonna give you whatever the fuck you want. Whatever is happening.
I
to
have
you
to
is
be
not what a body
careful
should
with
do.
my pots for doing that. If
Yeah.
I do that, I might faint.
But even if that's the case, you can usually do like, very quick stuff. Like the example that I generally give is like if you're on a treadmill, you're doing cardio or whatever. Don't even like go into like a full sprint. Don't go to like 10 miles an hour and like an all-out sprint, but alternate between like a fast jog or something that raises your heart rate to just walking. And even that, you will get more benefits over the course of time as a
I was talking to Armand, and 'cause he's been getting into like working out and bodybuilding and shit. He's like actually trying to like build muscles and like get huge and shit. And I asked him what he listens to when he works out. And he said that he listens to like Byzantine choral music, and because he likes to imagine that he's at like he's like fighting in the Second Punic War and like killing Romans.
That is the most high school boy answer I've heard in my
I was
entire
like,
life.
I literally, and Armand is normally such like an intellectual person. I was like, that is the most little boy thing I've ever heard you say.
There was when I was in the gym, there was
And
a
then
guy
Armand asked me what I listen to when I work out, and I was like, I listen to audiobooks. I was like, literally the other day, I finished the audiobook of Lolita in the gym. Like, I was imagining myself working out like as if I'm getting my biceps jacked in case I ever find Humbert so I can strangle him. It's like, this is what I'd fucking do to you.
What's beautiful
You
is
leave
that
Dolores alone.
those are two, like, for your each individual cases, that's exactly what you should be listening to.
Right?
Like, if you're going there just to like feel okay and do a little bit of cardio, whatever you can do to that like keeps you there is good. And for Armand, like that is exactly what I like. Most people that I know that did strength training have a very similar mentality.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that I was working out with, and all he would listen to is just like this like audio from like some like self-help guy, but all he did was like hurl insults at you, like personalized. He would like
Oh my
pick different audio
God.
tapes that were different personalized insults, and he would just be lifting
like,
and
"You're gay!
really
You're
angry
gay!"
the whole time.
That feels maladaptive. I feel like
would-
that's causing some psychological micro tears.
You know what? It got him in the gym, and that's I think that's the real hero thing.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like what I feel like there's so many people being like, God, there's so much shit about like working out these days where it's like you gotta join the gym so that you can like be a warrior like the rest of us. It's like I literally do this because I like listening to an hour of an audiobook and just like lifting a thing that's not that heavy every morning. It feels nice.
I just do it and like daydream. Like I will put on like folk music or like ballads and stuff, and I'll just like kind of zone out while I'm doing stuff.
You're like,
if I'm ever doing
what would
like,
what would it be
full-on-
like if I was a mouse that was also a knight?
But there's a brand of music called filk, and it's like
Yes, I'm aware of
sci-fi.
filk.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what filk is then. But I was listening to it and I was like, oh, you know what? It'd be cool to have like a character in like a TTRPG that is this character. I wonder what that would feel like. And then over time, I would just kind of zone out and I'm like, oh, I've been here for an hour. Time to go home. I've done all my work.
It's awesome that your workout music is just playing pretend in your mind. You have such a beautiful like world.
It literally is. It's. I started for a while. I was listening to audiobooks too, just like you did. But I kept having a problem where I was like zoning out and then having my own play pretend in my brain. And I was like, well, I missed what happened to Dinius Cole in my Tainted Cup audiobook. I can't keep doing that.
Oh no!
I love Dinius. I need to know what happens to him, so I need to lock in. And
My recent one has been Gravity's Rainbow, and I think even when you read that book normally, you don't really know what's happening in it the first time around. And that's fucking for sure. I was working out the other day and then kind of realized that I was listening to a Nosevore scene. I'm not even joking. Like, people are like, oh, LMAO, somebody got eaten, so it's a vor scene. It's like, no, there's literally like a woman climbs into Slothrup's nose and it's like a metaphor for some shit. Like, it's crazy. No, that book is fucking nuts.
that also happens in American Gods, but it's on.
No, it's Pussyvore.
Yeah. Then what's funny is that we can both agree that like no, that's normal.
Excess
That's
45 first time chat. Awesome. Cool. Are you gonna read Shadow Ticket? Maybe once I've figured out what's happening in Gravity's Rainbow. I'm liking Gravity's Rainbow. It's like there's a lot of similarities to fucking what do you call it? Infinite Jest, but I'm fucking with this book a lot more than Infinite Jest. I think it's partially just because the moment-to-moment prose is a lot like more fun to read. It's not Pynchon isn't like stopping the plot every 10 fucking seconds to describe like a milk machine that produces cups of milk that people drink out of. Stumbling Super Queen, first time chat. Gravity's Rainbow is so long and insane, also high. It is. It's less long and insane than Infinite Jest, though, which I appreciate.
Also, Meticulac says that they didn't like working out because their like family was a perfectionist and had like very strict things for working out. I think
Oh.
that's also
Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
yeah. Well, when I was growing up too, when I was doing like all my powerlifting and stuff, you kind of have to follow a pretty strict schedule because you only have so much time in the day, and you need to like do X, Y, and Z in order to build muscle here and there. And then I enjoyed that obviously, but that was also because I was lifting to a point. And what I enjoy about powerlifting too is like, if you bench press 200 pounds and then you follow a program, and then in 4 weeks you can bench press 210 pounds, it's like one of the few things in the world that is like both entirely on you and impossibly like calculable. You can be like, a year ago today, I could lift a half of the weight that I currently can lift. That is all because of the actions that only I took. No one else took those actions.
Right. Hey, I'm up to a 70-pound bench.
Hey,
I started at 45, and now I'm up to 70.
there we go. Though, what's oh, now what's say the 70.
I can almost hold the bar now.
Well, the bar is 45.
The bar is 45, but
Yeah.
I have very weak wrist muscles because of
Mm-hmm.
because of the pots. So I normally can't actually hold the bar because I can't hold it stable. Like I can lift it up, but I can't actually, I can't hold it stably without dropping it on myself.
Are you doing the light? Do they have light bars?
No, I've been doing I've been doing like a chest press machine.
Oh yeah, that you totally should. That is like the.
Yep,
the
I've been
reason why I said
doing.
that with
I've been
such fervor
doing
is because-
chest presses and rows alternately to build up the muscle group so that I can have like better stabilizing muscles.
The reason why I was so encouraged about that is that there's also like a sentiment in powerlifting strength training communities that like machines are like cheating, and that like you should never use them. You should only use free weights and stuff, which is it's just not the it's so much easier to do the machines, and they're generally also isolation exercises. So
Right.
like for CTs, it's a perfect example of it. If you have weak wrists but you still want to develop your pecs, like that's what that machine is for. You don't have to use your wrists for it.
Right.
It's awesome.
Charcuterie broad. I have 0 attention span for any workout session longer than 30 minutes, so I break it up throughout the day. See, that's part of why I like working out is that I'm not there for an hour, right? I'm there for several repetitions of 3 sets of 8, you know?
Yeah,
I can pay
exactly,
attention
yeah.
to anything for 3 sets of 8.
That's also why I also hated cardio when I was growing up, is because like you are on a torture device for an hour, and you can leave once you are done with your hour-long torture.
I literally
which was
hate
just like,
cardio. I like doing... I do my exercises fast.
see, I've started to enjoy cardio now, but I just changed it from time to duration in miles. So I'm like, okay, I want to sit down here and I want to run a 5K or whatever, and then I just do that, and then I'm like, cool, I'm done, and then I don't worry about like, I don't have another 5 minutes I have to torture myself being on this thing I don't want to be on. I'm like, oh, I probably can do another half kilometer. You know what? I feel good. Let's do another full kilometer and like go from there. It's a much more better framing for exercise.
Right. That's really nice.
Yummo.
That's a good idea. Yuppo.
Yummo.
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 Yummo. See, I have to level Oberon more.
Oberon is a character from fiction.
Yes, he's the king of the fairies in Shakespeare.
Oh.
He's married to Queen Titania.
That's also a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yup. I would assume so.
Is she a plant?
She's a fairy and is often like depicted as being kind of plant-like or wearing plant-based clothing. Titania is also a warframe in this game, and her power is shrinking.
Her name is Titanial Princess of the Camellias.
Our position has been compromised. Defend the cargo until reinforcements arrive. Void fissures.
Your ADHD means you always end up pushing yourself too hard, like hiking at a speed walk. That's not the worst problem in the world. I mean, I definitely have to be careful when I'm working out because it's very easy for me to damage my wrists. In fact, I think I have damaged my wrist a little bit. It's not as bad. Like, I can still, like, use stuff, but I need to be careful.
You also need to give yourself longer duration between anything that would strain your wrist. Like
Yeah,
3
yeah.
to 4 days and stuff. Yeah.
I should probably be better about that. I'll do more legs this week. I'll do more legs and abs and back.
Yes, glute exercises actually are both very intensive. Oh no, I'm thinking abs actually are something that you can train. I think usually like every day or every other day, depending on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to do so because your core is so important to your body overall. Like core and joints are, and neck too, are things that go kind of forgotten in most like capital S strength training things. But for a human to live, and not just for a human to lift a very heavy weight a couple of times, they're the most important things you can do.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like my life is currently in a very like well balanced place. It's like I've got work, which is working out my brain. I've got cooking, which is like the hobby that makes me happy, and then I'm going to the gym every day, which makes my body nice.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone needs like 3 hobbies like that. You need something for your brain, something for your heart, something for your body. And I like
And-
that mix. I feel good about that.
I think that is like the ideal state for every human. The difficulty, I think, is when any of those becomes like work or things you just don't want to do. Then forcing yourself to do that stuff can kind of leave a bad taste. It could be
Yup.
any of the 3. Even stuff that you used to enjoy, like for the hard thing, that you no longer enjoy.
Oh
Just
man,
don't force yourself to keep doing it. Give yourself either like a long break or just stop doing it.
I've been fucking around with my parents have a wok that they never use, so I've been fucking around with the wok. This thing is perfect for making fajita veggies. Like you just get really really high heat, a little bit of oil in the pan. Like it makes like perfect fajita veggies where they're like nice and crispy on the outside, but they're still sweet on the inside. It's so fucking good. I saw a video of this Chinese chef who was making fried rice by like he like made soup with all of the meat in like he kind of like braised it in soup, so he had broth. And normally it's like if you fry rice in broth, it's gonna get gloopy and soggy and yucky. But what he
Yeah.
did was he had the heat on the wok so high, and then he very slowly kind of like fed the soup into the wok, so it like seasoned the rice but then immediately evaporated. I want to try that with fajita veggies and salsa. I want to make a very very fine like tomato salsa sauce and then try and make fajita veggies with that technique. I think that would be really good.
I wonder if what are the veggies that you're using, like peppers and onions?
Recently it was white onions, a mixture of pasilla and Anaheim peppers. And then for seasonings, it was a little bit of cumin. It was like cumin, smoked paprika, and some kind of hot pepper. I forget which one. It was like a powdered pepper.
Let me know how that works out, because I'm curious to see how absorbent the peppers and onions would be.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go make that like after stream today.
Ooh. I did something similar when I first started cooking. I got a whole bunch of Better Than Bouillon, like the little glass thing that's just like a replacement for chicken stock. And whenever I'd make anything, I would make it, and then I would like throw water in the Better Than Bouillon in there, and then just like let the like water evaporate off. And then you kind of just had like a pretty easy both like sauce and like flavorant for whatever it is you were cooking.
You're literally making a bootleg demi-glace.
Basically, yeah. And
That's smart,
even,
yeah.
One time I
You should. Okay, Sanity. If you're ever trying to do that with that and Cajun seasoning.
what's Cajun seasoning?
Oh, do you not know about Cajun seasoning?
I've heard of it, but what are its
I actually
composite
don't
parts?
know exactly what's in it. I've always thought of it as Cajun seasoning, but it's like a common spice mix that's in a lot of Cajun food.
Paprika, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, dried herbs, including oregano and thyme, black pepper and salt. So what's funny is I do in almost anything. I always do black pepper, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and then I finally got. I've had for a couple of years. I've had like a giant like spice rack, but it has the most weird spices on it. Like it doesn't have any paprika or cayenne pepper.
Yes!
It didn't have garlic powder. It was so strange. I was like too lazy to go get another spice rack or get like other spices and stuff. So I didn't have it. But.
So I worked at fucking when I worked at like a Crate and Barrel for a while. I became really judgmental when I would like go to my friends' like wealthy white woman houses, and I would see like I would be able to tell like you don't actually use that spice rack. You bought that from Sur La Table, and it's clearly hasn't been used. And it's like you look at the spices that they have, and it's like ground fennel seeds.
I have that.
Yeah.
So I got this when I graduated college. It was like a graduation present, and it's like a Costco thing. It's like a spiral thing. But they have that. They have like whole peppercorns.
Right.
They have, I'm like celery salt. There's like one thing of celery salt. Another thing is a mixture of celery salt and like pepper or something.
Literally
That's two different
things. The only dish I've ever seen that actually calls for celery salt is coleslaw. It's the only thing.
There's a thing called a meal lime, which is like an app that you could, at one point do this, you could put all the ingredients you have in.
Literally a JMAP.
For the literally, yeah. I put all the spices in, and like I put like all like the food that I had in there, and then I added all the spices, and it was like one more dish I could make. I'm like, how are there like 1,200 spices in this rack, and none of them are usable for anything? I have one that's I have like pizza seasoning and seasoning salt as two different of the spices, and I'm like, it's so infrequent. I need either of those.
Right. It's like I when I was getting into Indian food, it's like I have some crazy exotic spices in my cabinet now. It's like I got green and black cardamom, by the way, ladies.
God, I love either of those.
Yeah. I got green and not even ground. I got the whole damn pods. Thank you very much.
Oh, the app was called Meal Lime, all one word. Also, I do know about
My
Old
meal.
Bay. Growing up, I've only ever eaten Old Bay on crabs, so I'm not a huge Old Bay fan. Also, when I was a kid, spicy things I did not like at all. And now, ever since I watched a video with Smokin' Ed Curry, I'm totally fine with spicy things. So maybe I'll give it another. Next time in Maryland, I'll pick some up.
Yeah. Maybe I will. All right, I'm gonna finish up this mission, and we'll wrap it up for this stream.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
Powdered green mango?
I fuck with that.
Isn't that just unripe mango?
I think it's a different kind of mango, right?
I have no idea.
Cardamom when brewing coffee. Did Rabbi Akiva like spice? Well, he did live in the Near East, so presumably he enjoyed some pomegranate, pomegranate and cardamom, two common Middle Eastern spices. Fun thing about Rabbi Akiva is that he was famously really ugly. People said that he was really ugly, but he was very charming, so he had like a really hot wife.
Oh, perfect. That's like I know exactly the type of guy they're talking about.
Yeah. It's like he was ugly but very charming, and so he had a hot wife who was like obsessed with him and like loved him.
There's hope for everyone, folks.
It's literally so easy to like get women if you're just charming.
That's like when growing up being a young white male, I've inevitably seen all of the like incel stuff, and then like once you attempt to speak to women, and then you're like, oh, they're just like also people,
they're
and
just
you
more
have that
assholes,
recollection at like 14 years old. And then later on, it's like it's impossible to meet people, it's impossible to hook up or whatever. And it's like
you
no,
literally
you
just talk to people. Yeah.
talk to people, and then like don't just like be weird, and then eventually you can kind of get the sense of this is a position where it can go to that or it can't go to that. It's quite simple, actually.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this week. We'll be back next week with more Esoterica. And hey, before we take off, this is my primary income stream for the moment. If you want to support me on Patreon, throw me a sub here. Greatly appreciate it, but no pressure. All right, everyone. I will catch you next week. Bye.